Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to a brand new campaign here in Crusader Kings III. And what we're going to do here is find ourselves a Han Empire within the Crusader 3 Kings realm, as we currently don't have a DLC that includes China, but there are some options available for us, and one in particular that interests me is the Guiyi faction here at the edge of the map in the 187 start. So, as we zoom in here, Guiyi occupies a region that is historically known as the Hexi Corridors. It's a region of land that's on the western fringes of many Chinese dynasties, and a key location in the fabled Silk Road, as it offers passage through the deserts here to reach the west, and trade flourished here with many different cultural groups claiming a little bit pieces of the trade. And around the start of the game date of 867, a faction formed in this region that was called Guiyi. And Guiyi stands for a return to righteousness, if you translate it over from Chinese. And what this really means is that our main character, King Huaishen, which is not his name but just his title, is heir, or his uncle here, in Zhang Chao. Now, Zhang Chao is a gentleman who, around the 840s, organized with many of the other Han clans in the region. That includes the Cao clan, the Suo clan, the Zhang clan, which he's part of, as well as the Yuan clan. There were 4 big Han clans in this region, and they united against the Tibetan Empire. Because if we zoom out from realms into duchies, into kingdoms, and finally into empires, this entire region around this date falls under the control of the Tibetan Empire, which are starting to crack around this period. There is a series of internal strife within the Tibetan Empire and succession issues, which led to this state that you see here in the game world. And this offered an opening for some of the Han clans in this region to reclaim the land and offer it back to the dwindling Tang dynasty, which is still around during this period. And the Tang dynasty is about to die off. They will officially end within a few years, as the decline from the golden age of the Tang dynasty has already been happening for about 100 years, starting off with An Lushan's rebellion in the Anshi Zhiluan, which is a case of a jiedushi, or a regional official on the fringes of the kingdom. These military inspectors that basically had the right to collect their own taxes, field their own armies, and run these frontier territories similar to Guiyi's kingdom here. They started triggering a series of rebellions that really weakened the Tang dynasty and eventually brought an end to it. And now we are the ones who are actually organizing the territory and returning it to the Tang dynasty, but sadly they are going to end in about 3 to 4 years. And historically, when the Tang dynasty ended, the Zhang clan, who ruled over this region for the Tang dynasty, decided they were going to start their own kingdom, and they called it Jinshan Guo, or the Golden Mountain Kingdom. And I think it's called Jinshan Guo not because there was gold here, but rather there was a lot of sand here, because we are in a desert with many oases supplying the trade route. So that's what we're going to start. It's a rather challenging start in the game because we are not equipped to manage this much land. As you're going to see once we hop in, we have way too many powerful vassals who do not like us, and our kingdom will fracture right off the bat. And we have to fight our way to reclaim the 11 zhou, or the 11 provinces that makes up the historical Guiyi kingdom. And as we try that, there's going to be other influences from around us, the remnants of the Tibetan Empire, the Batpa people, as well as new nomadic tribes, the Kotros from the west, which are Huigu, that's how they're called in Chinese. And historically, the Huigu people, the Kotro people, will actually start encroaching on Guiyi's territory, forcing an unequal alliance between these two kingdoms, where the Kotro king was referred to as the father, and the Guiyi king was referred to as the sun. So that was the situation until eventually both groups got swallowed up by the development of Xia, Xixia. But this is around the 11th century or so forth, and that's something that we might try to imitate ourselves by creating the de jure land of Xia, which makes sense for us because that is how the game structured the territories. Is even though we have a different kingdom name over the territory, if we want to get bonuses in the game, we have to create the official one in the region, and Xia would be it here. And eventually our goal would be to create a Tibetan empire here. And that's going to be rather interesting as we make that attempt. Or we can even go up towards Mongolia if we dare. There are many very strong nomadic factions around, and I'm sure it will make for quite an interesting run as we try to survive here, as we will start out looking very strong, but in reality very weak. Now before we hop in, I do want to make a reference to the flag that's given to us in the game. And as many of you might notice, the thumbnail for this video and this series is actually a cave painting from Dunhuang, which is actually residing in where the capital we have here in Shazhou. Now Dunhuang is one of these World Heritage Sites inside China today in the Gansu province, where you have a series of cave structures with massive cave paintings depicting Silk Roads and all sorts of cultural influence of all the various tribal people, as well as the Han Chinese, which is for once not a cultural majority here, as this is a fringe kingdom on the edge of the Silk Road where there's many influences of many cultures, and it's a blending of such cultures and religions, and they're all depicted on these cave paintings. And the one in particular I picked out for the thumbnail is a depiction of Zhang Yichao himself marching. And in that painting, if you notice, which I'll put on screen here, the flag that he was using is actually the same exact banner. So the detail here are great. Now the character art choice as well as the crown choice also reference to some of the kingdoms in this region, but mainly Tibetan or Bappa, and as well as cultural looks. I don't know how the Han people would have dressed, but I would assume this would not be it, as the clothing choice is clearly wrong for the Han people. So I'm not saying everything is correct here, but it's nice that they got the banner looking the way it is, referencing to an actual cave painting that's available in this region. And the only thing we're really going to do for the game rules that I would like to change for this run is I would like to turn on Iron Man. It will just basically allow saving automatically, so you can't kind of reload things. We typically don't reload anyways, and it also kicks in the availability of achievements, so that's also very exciting. Now there's not any particular achievement I'm trying to complete, so if we finish any, it'll just be by chance. I'm not even going to take a look at what achievement they are. We're also not going to mess with any of the other rules. We'll keep things as it is on default, because I am not familiar enough with the game to make these judgments of which ones we want to change, and I'll just go with the default version. Pretty happy with it. And that's all we're going to do, as we're going to jump in here as King Huaishen of Guiyi. And let's use that save file. Sounds good. And as we hop into game here, on the very first date of 867, we find ourselves ruling over what seems like a large piece of land, but if we zoom in, you notice many impassable terrains. So it's actually a very narrow strip of land, and it makes sense as the Chinese refer to this area as the Hexi corridor because of its narrow reach of, oases and rivers that is available to sustain life, whereas you have large stretches of desert that prevented passage. And we have some very familiar Chinese names, Yumen Guan, Shazhou, Guazhou. You also have Subei, which is part of the Suzhou, and Ganzhou, which makes up today's Gansu province. That's where they got the name from, Gan and Su. And Zhou is repeated a lot because that's the word for province. Men is repeated a lot. That's the word for gates. And we're going to see a lot of very familiar Han names. But people who are ruling over this region might not necessarily be Han. Some will be. Others will be from other cultures, even if they are in our kingdom, as we can see here. Let's zoom out to, yes, this part of our Guiyi kingdom. He's one of our dukes, but he's part of the Bapa, which is a Tibetan group. There's also influence from nomad tribe from the west, even as far as Iran, as we have our cousin here, whose father is a Sugadan, which is also a large group who has came from Iran into this region and became adapted to Han culture, as he took our aunt for a wife here, and the kid is now a Han character, and he also took on the last name of Cao, which is the same exact character as Cao, as he adapted his culture to the Han culture. And religion-wise, we have a good mix of Buddhism as well as Taoism, which is actually quite interesting. I don't know why the game picked Taoism. I feel like they gave us Taoism because if they didn't, then there would be no place on the map where they could give Taoism a place. But in fact, historically speaking, we should be Buddhists, Tibetan Buddhists to be exact, as this was part of the Tibetan kingdom or empire for a good few decades before it started cratering and provided the opening for our uncle to actually break free. And it's actually quite weird to see how the clan is structured, because if we come into our clan, we can see that we are the dynasty head, there's 5 living members, and if we pop open the tree, we can get a better idea of how things looked. The clan is relatively new, the Zhang clan, and you have Zhang Yizhen going to Zhang Yichao, who is our uncle, a very historically relevant character, as he is the one who predominantly created the Guiyi army, or Guiyi Circuit as is referred to in English. And then he sent his brother, our father, to Chang'an, the capital of the Tang Dynasty, to inform them that we have regained control and they would like to become part of the Tang Dynasty again. And the Tang Dynasty obviously accepted and rewarded him with the title of Jiedu Shi, which is one of those regional military inspector spots. And now the game has passed on the dynasty to us, which is rather strange because he has a son, our cousin, Zhang Huading. And Zhang Huading is actually historical as well, as he will eventually take over Guiyi. And we might go down that route, as he does have pretty high stewardship, although absolutely no learning. It's rather interesting. We could make him eventually our steward. That would work. We're currently going to be doing the ruling here. Nothing too standoutish on us. We have the strategist lifestyle trait, which makes me think we went down the martial route. We also have open terrain expert and misguided warrior. Oh, very interesting. So we did go down the martial route, but very low, only 10%. Not the greatest character. Our army strength is okay. I wouldn't say this is very high. 7 champions or knights available to us. We have 200 piety, 600 prestige, 44 gold. Decent income right now. I don't know how that's going to keep up once we have some independence factions forming, because no one likes to stay under our rule. If we look at our vassals, everyone hates us, even though some hate us a lot, even though many of them are in our council already. It's just a reflection of our loose control over the region. And if we pop out real quick, we are also, actually before we do that, okay, we're friendly, we're content. That should help a little, opinions of vassals, but apparently not enough. And then we're deceitful. We have good, we don't have good intrigue either. So martial is kind of our saving grace, even though I don't know how that's going to help us that much. There's a holy site in Suzhou is giving us +1 martial. Alright, so we kind of generally know where we are with our family tree. Our aunt branch goes off to the Cao clan, and they are one of our vassals now. Don't like us as well. Don't know if they will want to declare independence from us. And we're going to have to get ourselves married, of course. That's one of the key things. And lifestyle, let's do that first. So it seems like we have 10 points in martial already. And it doesn't grow very fast, but we can definitely go for this. We can probably pick something. I kind of want this. Just for the attraction opinion. To basically affect all females. Stop having an effect for a woman 50 years or older. Okay. Alternatively, we can increase growth and increase dread gain. Now, dread might actually be useful for us, because we might be able to intimidate some of our vassals to not rebel. I have actually never gone down the military lifestyle, so let's take a look. Kaze Belly costs 50% less. Now, I never knew there was a cost. I know that we have ways to fabricate claims. Now, what exactly is a cost? Is it like 50% easier to get that claim? Not sure. Alright, we have Parthian Tactic, so all the cavalries and skirmishers are stronger, and also can pursuit better, toughness for skirmishers. Organized March, movement speed increases, also a bunch of, or screens +5. Okay, I guess helps them. What does screens do? A defeated army reduces the amount of casualties they take. Okay, so... Okay, helps keep your routed units alive from being pursued. Engineered for destruction, naval speed, siege weapon effectiveness goes up. Man arm in general, or counters efficiency goes up. Hit and run, retreat loss. Okay, living off the land, raid speed, supply capacity, sappers. And finally, we have the strategist, which helps our diplomacy as well as martial. Enemy fatal casualties increase. Crossing water without advantage penalty, yes. Okay, and then we have Steward Leader, which increase our own prowess and reduce the risk of commanding armies. Okay. We can increase our romance, elope. Interesting. We can increase marriage acceptance for our close families and extended families, so we can push for better marriages. Increase the number of knight. That's actually quite powerful, as knights are very powerful in the game. Okay. Peace acceptance +10. Gallant. That's not bad. I actually like Overseer maybe better. Natural Dread. I'm not even sure if Dread's gonna save us in time. So if the control is 100, we get absolute and bonus tax and levies. Interesting mix between martial and stewardship ideas, and also some diplomacy ideas as well. Regardless, I think we will stick to this since we're already pretty heavily invested. And we're gonna go for the Dread and Control, I think. Alright, so that's our lifestyle. Our heir is probably going to stay unmarried. He is quite old, our uncle here. And we're not going to bother him with more children. However, we might be interested in getting married. Now, there's some potential alliances coming up. Also claims. This is to our west, it seems. Ah, this whole piece. Okay. A small piece of it. So this is like Ocho territory. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but marriage is definitely not just about alliances here. We're not that weak ourselves. I might want to start getting a head start on traits, as they are very useful. Intelligent. I don't see anything. Oh, nothing too strong here. Beautiful. Not a bad idea. Beautiful will build up diplomacy. Arbitrary. Arrogant. We're both Gregors, but she's still -9 on us. She is young. Buddhist. Bengali, it's okay. It's a very multicultural area. Kid will be Han. Intelligence probably the strongest of all the ones we see here. Ooh, she's lustful. We could maybe get a lot of children this way. I think so. I think we will go with her. Good stewardship stat. Diplomacy is a little weak. We could probably use more diplomacy. Ooh, that's also something we should consider. She likes us. We like her. This one's good just for the life expectancy. Increased fertility. We just have a bunch of children. And the diplomacy will help boost our relationship with everyone. And same culture, same religion. Let's go for this instead. Let's go marry Taichun. She's unlanded. Shouldn't be a problem at all. In addition to this marriage, we also need to take a look at our religion. Now that we're on the topic of religion, we have one of the Taoist faiths. There's 3 Taoism faith here in the game. Zheng, Shangqing, Quanzhen. Now of these, they're quite similar with some minor differences in their tenets. The one I like in particular is actually Quanzhen. Not only for the in-game effect, but also because if you're a fan of martial art novels, Quanzhen is quite a familiar name, as Quanzhen Jiao is featured in many martial art stories, and they have basically monks that practice, well, not really monks, I guess Taoist followers would be disciples that follow practices not only Taoism but also martial arts, as well as alchemy and the search for everlasting life. And changing to that faith might be a goal that we might have. And there's some advantages. If we just take a look at Zheng, communion is not that useful because there's no head of faith for Taoism in the game. So you can't ask for gold. You can increase conversion speed. You can also pick up wise men on children if they focus on learning, which is basically just a trait that gives piety and 1 learning, I believe. And in addition to that, we have righteous, which is a bit rough to swallow here because we consider all other faith 100% evil, and it's not great. It's better if we have a more accepting idea here, given the multicultural and multi-religious nature of this region. The cool thing about Taoist faith is they're all equal, as in gender equality, so both male and female can hold positions in court, as well as all one wife always can be divorced. There's no head of faith to consult. Cousin marriages are okay. There's no such thing as a bastards. If you are having a child out of wedlock with someone else, they are legitimate child. There's no such thing as a bastard. It's all by blood. There are some issues with Zheng in particular, in that deviant and adultery for male and female are both criminal. There's also control on the clergy function, which is actually good for growth. Clerical gender is either, and marriages are not allowed for them. But if we come to Quanzhen, we can see that first off, all the marriages here are shunned, and that if you have adultery, it's okay. They don't like it, but it's shunned. Same thing up here. Over here, main doctrine, pluralists will help us be more accepting of other faith. Will reduce their chance of joining factions, but it will slow down conversion speed if you want to push for one religion. Obviously, that would be harder. Pacifism prevents you from using holy wars and raids, which is fine, but there will be a reward if you have not been at war for 2 years. Inner Journey is also a new one, where you have a new decision to meditate in seclusion that will help you reduce stress and possibly gain theological insights, also something that's quite interesting. To be what's called 闭关 in Chinese. And then you also have clergy marriage is allowed, as well as alms and pacification, which will lose you a bit of money, but increase popular opinion. These are all interesting changes, minor changes. Most of the tenets, virtues, and doctrines are very similar. Holy site is also slightly different, but the main problem here is there's really no true holy sites of Taoism on the given map, so they just pick some influential religious sites on the game and just stuck Taoism on them. None of these would make any sense. If you want to have Taoist sites, you need China on the map. You need places like Wuyi Wudangshan, and Emeishan, and mountains like those to be relevant. But we don't have those, so we have to make do with what we have. Alternatively, we don't even have to go with a Taoist faith. We can go with some sort of Buddhist faith. We can pick all the Buddhist faith here to take a look at. And there's a lot of counties that follow these faiths around where we are, and we can definitely go for it. Now, there are going to be slight differences. There's ones that have very similar to what we have, equal, pluralist, as well as some different tenets, and then very similar in a lot of different aspects. There's consorts and concubine for some of these, which is rather interesting. I think if we go for like a historical run, then we should probably go for this Nantros here, which is the Buddhism in Tibet. And that kind of makes sense for us, being part of the Tibetan Empire for a long time. So a conversion here would make sense. I believe the game actually gives us this one at the beginning in our main capital. Let's double check that. We are right here in Shazhou. Yes, as you can see, the culture here is Sagadan, and the faith is Mahayana, which is not our faith nor our culture, so there's a lot of issues. We definitely have a lot of challenges at the start. We don't hold that much land either. It looks very big because our main title is the Kingdom of Guiyi, which is what's everything here. But if we break things down, you see that we only have this duchy title here in Guazhou, right here. And then if we move on to the next one, it's now counties. So we're only looking at Shazhou right here, Yumenguan right here, and Subei. So just these three at the bottom. That's it. And then because we have these three, we have the duchy. And because we have this one duchy, we have this self-made kingdom title. And that's not very impressive. So it looks like we're strong, but really we're not. And the game acknowledges that by giving us a bunch of very unhappy vassals who are now part of our council, of course. Now, there's more dukes than we have slots for, so that's also bad. Our current priest, not bad. He doesn't endorse us, which is bad, but 13 learning is definitely not shabby. He also looks more dressed like a Tibetan Buddhist monk than a Taoist one. But we're going to let that slide. A lot of the clothing choices are weird. I'm going to be pretty happy with him, to be honest. He has some of our temple holdings. We have 12 points, 8 points. Actually, I don't even need to worry about that. Most of them are going to rebel very soon. You can see... Do we have any factions that starts out against us right away? Oh, wonderful. What do you know? We have an independence faction already at the beginning of game. The first day we come to our job, 4 of our dukes, I'm assuming, 1, 2, oh, and a count, 3 dukes and a count are very much against us. And we can probably look at each one of them to see if we have any ways around them. Okay, so for him, Duke Ye of Liangzhou, part of the Yuan clan, he doesn't have any sons. Oh, he does. Wait, why did I see myself there for a second? Well, that must be an error. Anyhow, so we don't have a solution against him. Assassinating him wouldn't do us any good. Wait, they share the same error? Oh, because he's a count. Right, right. Are you a... Wait. They're different clans. This is the Tuoba clan. This is the Xing clan. How is he related to both? He's his kid. And also his kid? Or maybe they're different characters with the same look. Tuoba Long. Ah, right. Same helmet, similar face, different characters. Alright. That had us confused for a little bit. Duke Kuru of Uluhai. Uluhai. Let's see. He also has a son. Turkish nomadic group. Okay, there's going to be Mongols, Turkish nomads, Uyghur nomads, the Quotros, there's going to be Sogadans, there's going to be so many of different groups. So we can't actually stop any of them from declaring independence, and they're strong. So we're going to have to grant them independence unless we want to die. If you add up all their men, they can outnumber us. He in particular is quite strong. Now the question is, am I able to murder his kid and him fast enough so that before they rebel, we can end them? Wait, no, not in prison. Murder. Ah, very low percent. Because we're bad at that, I'm assuming. Oh, we have 3. Right, so that's probably not an option. We're going to just accept the fact we're going to lose some land, and we're going to try to regain them. This is our cousin. Who else is around us? Oh, he is everywhere around us. Now the good news is I don't think everyone's going to rebel. I don't see his name there. Actually no, Yuan clan. Okay, maybe they're just related, but they're not. Yeah, he's not rebelling. Duke Jiawei of Ganzhou. If I can lock him down to make sure he doesn't rebel, that would help immensely, to be honest. He is our marshal. Han. Let's see, we have some guests in our court. Very high marshal, but very low prowess. He's a guest with high diplomacy as well. Interesting. Another competent diplomat. And we can welcome, you know, female and male courtesans because everyone can be courtiers, so everyone can be helpful. She happens to be a nun. Interesting. I wish we could assign priestesses, because then we can have more choices instead of having to kill them. We have a pretty big court, to be honest. Not everyone likes us. Short reign is obviously one reason. 7 knights. Our cousin, our sister, or not, our uncle's daughter. She's married to one of our courtiers. Okay. And champion, who's the last one? 7. Could be worse, but we'll be fine. Right. So eventually we have to get here. We have to create the title of Kingdom of Xia, because we have a lot of pieces of Xia, and the game only acknowledged that this is the official kingdom that should exist, and we need to move our de jure capital over here to Which piece? Which piece is this? Xingqing. Okay, yeah, we need to move it to here eventually. A lot of little things to do. But I think we got the marriage out of the way. I don't think I can declare war. We're trying to befriend our marshal so he doesn't join the independence faction, but that might be wishful thinking. We know he's never going to leave us. So we can just sway him, perhaps. 58, even lower than his. Never mind. Yes, there's powerful vassals who want a position, but what can we do? We don't have enough position. Look at it. Duke, 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 Duke. So, that's no good. He is part of the... Right, he's part of the independence faction, right? But he's not. And he has higher stewardship than he does. So off he goes. Oh, our cousin's so good at this, but right now we have to keep our dukes happy. So it's gonna be him. He's gonna hate us more. He's ready in the independence faction. What can he do, right? Duchy of Xia. Let's see. We're missing a lot of these titles. Okay. Duchy of Xia, Wuluhai. What is the other one? Qilin. Qilin. That's a very narrow strip of land. Okay, we don't have much time to worry about them. Let's see what we do have. We have Yubenguan temple here. No special buildings. Another castle here. Shazhou. Another temple building. And then we own Subei. Stone quarry. And a third temple building. Wow, okay. Piety shouldn't be an issue. And if we do want to switch faith, whether we want to go with a different version of Taoism, which is rather cool, or just go for Buddhism, we're going to need 250. Oh, wow. 2,600. Oh, because we have terrible learning. Okay. This might not happen then. I'm misled. Oh, this is much easier. Interesting. Right, the undiscounted cost is super high. I understand that. But how did the other one stay that high? Is my question. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe it's because we don't have this faith in our territory. Anyhow, we're not going to worry too much about it. Maybe we will switch to Buddhism just for historical sake. Yeah, everyone hates us. I don't even want to sway him. He's ready, kind of set up the independence faction. Alright, we got the marriage. May Dao grant us long life and many children, my charming husband. Still wants our uncle to get married. We're not going to do that. Alright, we're still going to search for physicians. Going to let them talk to us. We can... I'm not going to convert the culture. The whole idea here is we're doing a Han Empire, so culture is not going to change. But religion can be changed. Yeah, he's quite good. 15 points. I might grab him for 15. Because when a bunch of our dukes leave, we might need to place people in certain places. He's also part of the independence movement, I believe. Yeah, he is. But so is Wuluhai. or Kulu of Uluhai. Kind of scared that he's our spy master. Meldo. Oh, she's Nantro or Nangtro, but kind of interested in this combo right here. Or we can give it to one of our vassals. He's a count as well, so he has a small desire to be in one of these positions. And he hasn't asked for an independence movement yet. Where are you? Ah, he's the Western Fringe. Okay, you're gonna replace the good Duke here. You join the independence movement? I'm gonna grant you guys independence. Duke Long, okay. I'm sure we can find someone better. Ah, Pan, for example, who we could recruit to the court for the high martial and for the high diplomacy. Ah, Tangut. The Tianik group. I think they eventually form Xixia. I could be wrong on that. The English translations and the Chinese ones I know, I don't have them connected very well just yet. But we could have her be our diplomat, or we can just recruit Pan for now. Okay, he's gonna stick with us. I kind of like him as a potential martial replacement. He doesn't have high prowess, which makes him a bad champion, but the diplomacy is nice. Make sure we're firing the right one. Okay, so now we have people who are slightly more loyal to us in our court. Can't tell from the opinions, but that's basically what we're doing. I think we want to convert Faith of her capital. It might be risky business though. He doesn't have that high learning. There could be resistance to the conversion. And I'm not even sure if we're going to stick with the current one. So that's probably not a great idea. Yeah, let's just do this. Increasing prestige or increasing vassal opinions. I think we want to focus on vassal opinions. I want to promote culture. That's key. Like, we have Han culture around us except for in our capital, which is kind of ridiculous. So we're going to use 6 years to convert the culture by asking someone who's Tibetan to do it for us. Makes perfect sense. I know. Logic is solid right there. I think we have good control, right? There's not even an option. We could train commanders. I don't think we need to use our levies for a while. Are we murdering anyone yet? I don't think so, given our low intrigue. I could start scheming about people's court around us. He has a son. And the Cao clan eventually actually takes over Guiyi for about 2 generations before one of the Zhang clan concubines murder them and then return the rule back to the Zhang clan. So a lot of chaotic rules. It's over 2 centuries of Guiyi being an actual kingdom, so pretty impressive. He's not a bad character either. We could have some cross marriages. Whenever we have kids, of course. And if I murder his son, and then murder him, and then it will go to the mom, or maybe the daughter. Probably the daughter. That's too many to kill. Yeah, let's not do that. We can just set up a marriage for the daughter. Like a matrimonial one, and then murder the son when he takes over, and problem solved. We're not going to deal with that. Disrupting scheme. I could use some secrets on him. He's probably not going to leave us, so having some hooks in his faction might be helpful. And that's really all we can do. As we await the ultimatum. A wedding has occurred. Do we want prestige or some money? I think at this point we'll just take some money. And we're just hopeful for children at this point. Ah, right. Our search for physician. Wow, a renowned one right away. Okay. Sure. 40-year-old Han Buddhist, that's fine. 50. Wow, you are expensive. But you are a renowned physician. Alright. Let's spend the wedding money on the healthy lifestyle. By having someone to cure us in case something bad happens. The culture light here. Just not going well, and there's a lot of drawbacks. And all we have to do now is await the ultimatum to show up in about 8 months. Oh, we have some new members. Oh no. We made you a spy master and you joined the independence movement? Now I don't trust him. I can't trust him. I guess it has to be one of our courtiers. Independence, 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 independence. Our cousin, 12. A little bit less than what we want. So be it. Yeah, it's going to be a rough start here, as we have a series of independence movement. And that's totally fine. We'll build small. We'll eventually earn all of this back. Don't like to get it handed to us. I expect a pregnancy to happen pretty soon. Let's see, we actually found some secrets. The Han House. Interesting. He's just a courtier. He has a secret lover. With another one, the courtier. But he's not married, so it's, I don't think, and neither is she, I believe. Right. 2 lovers. It's a strong hook though. Wow. So both of them can actually help us murder their lord. And before we proceed, +3, +2, +8. That might be why we got her. To help us balance out our diplomacy so that people might not hate us. Right, that helped a lot right away. Oh, tourney troubles. Champion of my cousin. Wait, didn't we have a hook on her? Yeah, we do. She's insufferable. A merchant dropped off a cart of spiced wine. We make her our rival. We lose stress and gain prestige. We become a drunk. Which, in my opinion, has no good, doesn't do us any good. I mean, she can be our rival. I don't see what's the big deal of making her our rival. We gain some prestige. She lose some prestige. She's a lowborn. But it's rather rude. We push her into a horse trough. But hey, it's a boring tournament. So we did that. We got ourselves a rival right away. someone who we have a strong hook on. So I can't imagine it going too poorly for us. And there's no follow-up to that event, which is also curious. Where would we go on pilgrimage? Any of the holy sites. Yeah, we're not going anywhere though. We don't need that much piety. We're actually increasing quite a bit. And we're probably going to wait till we have a more learned generation to switch faith. Easier that way. 1 month away from the big moment where all 5 of them will come declare independence. And that's how we kick off our reign. Chancellor Punt. He has been hosting our Chancellor Punt. Really? So that's because our Punt has good diplomacy. We've been using him for eternal issues. So we actually reduced his... It's too late. He's gonna be gone. I still think it's too late. There we go. Dangerous factions. So they can send an ultimatum at any time. Even though his number has reduced, it's still negative 57. It's kind of hopeless. Let's just wait for that message. And that's where we will leave things and see how big our realm is afterwards. Uncle single? Oh, but Uncle's son, right. He's also single, I believe. We can find him a wife because the sister is already married. Because eventually we might play as him. There's always that possibility. And we're definitely going to try to introduce more traits into the family. We took a very simple one, just for more fertility reasons. I think for him... Are there any new options? Not really. I guess intelligence would be the way to go. It is one of the stronger ones. Medium chance. Pretty even marriage here. Go for it. I would like a child soon. The demand for independence. So it's very hard for us to say no because there's too many of them. We can't take all of them on. Yeah, he has 1,000 men himself. 820, 589, 500, 200. So unless we want, you know, basically a swift end to our run, we're gonna have to say yes, and they're gonna be free. Oh no, he has decent amount of learning. All right, we got our cousin marriage. Hold on, he has. We swayed him. Nice. He has decent enough learning. I don't know how we picked this up. Lost 50 piety. We're gonna sway him next because he doesn't support us right now. So it's at 6 points. It's not the best. Now, rightful liege is an issue because it's the primary title. And we don't have that set up because the way de jure works in the game. Guiyi is not technically on the game map. You don't see Guiyi just like, you know, sure, our realm was called Guiyi. I don't know if it's still called that. Yes, it is still called that. We shrunk, as you can see. All these left, they left as well. We became much smaller. But if you go to kingdom title rule, we have to be xia. And we're not that right now, so that's not going to work. But now we can kind of plan where we want to attack. See, when they are declaring independence together, we can't touch them. But once they become independent, they're more vulnerable. Now there's 5 years of truth. So there's 5 years where we can't do much to him. And that's okay. I think it's the same thing for all of them. But this was not part of our... gotta watch out for their alliances. Let's see. With the entire... Oh, over here. Okay, okay. I was like, with the entire Ocho? Oh, wow. Not gonna lie. The entire Ocho. Can't touch them. no alliances down here. That might be our first target down here. He has concubines. That's a good thing of the Untitled Faith, the Buddhists. We could definitely work towards that conversion. So I think he will be our first target. We will send our high libationer? I'm just gonna call him a priest. And we're gonna fabricate a claim on them. If we get lucky, we can get an entire duchy, but I doubt it. We'll take a piece at a time, and we do have enough army to beat them, at least, and we have a pretty strong marshal to do it. He stuck around with us. Even though our cousin's going to be a lot better at the job, I might let him keep it. Only -7. Alright, we'll sway most of them eventually. And that's where we're going to leave things. Pretty rough start. Kind of predicted this given our holdings and our power. They're just not balanced, so we'll lose them, but we will rebuild them. As we will try to expand a little first before all the truth expires and reclaim these traitors and their land back to us. Starting with Liang Zhou. He's the one who started it. No, he's not. Wait, is it Duke Ye or Duke Liang? I think he started it, but he's on the frontier, so he's going to get the blunt of the revenge first. And we're going to take land into our own hand as we look to expand our territory. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this new series as we try to build ourselves a Han kingdom here in Crusader Kings 3. Until next time, bye!